From MTN News, this is Montana This Morning.
Good morning and welcome to Montana This Morning on this Friday, May 27th. New this morning, families of the victims murdered in the Uvalde school shooting are questioning what took law enforcement so long to stop the shooter. CBS's Danya Bacchus is in Texas, where investigators are still searching for answers.
Today should have been the first day of summer break for the 19 children and 2 teachers of Robb Elementary killed by a gunman Tuesday.
She was excited for the summer. We were going to go to the zoo.
The family of 11-year-old Layla Salazar is instead planning her funeral, and they have lingering questions about the police response on that horrific day.
Maybe they could have acted faster. As the day goes by, we get more and more information.
Officials have struggled to clearly lay out the shooter's movements and what actions were taken by law enforcement in the 90 minutes he was at the school.
The initial officers, they receive gunfire. They don't make entry initially because of the gunfire they're receiving. But we have officers calling for additional resources.
Law enforcement officials say the gunman walked into the building through an unlocked door without being confronted by anyone. CBS News has learned it took an hour before an elite Border Patrol team entered the classroom and killed the shooter.
He crouched a little bit and he said it's time to die.
This 9-year-old boy hid from the gunman under a covered table, waiting silently for help.
The cop said, "Help if you need help." One of the persons in my class said, "Help." The guy overheard and he came in and shot her. And then the cops barged into that classroom and the guy shot the cops and the cops just started shooting.
For one family, the tragedy has only gotten worse. The husband of teacher Irma Garcia, who was killed Tuesday, died of a heart attack. The family says Joe Garcia died of a broken heart. They leave behind 4 children. Danya Bacchus, CBS News, Uvalde, Texas.
The president and the first lady are headed to Texas on Sunday. Protesters are expected to surround the National Rifle Association's annual convention in Houston. The event opens today. Former President Donald Trump and other leading Republicans are scheduled to address the 3-day gun industry event. Some scheduled speakers have backed out after Tuesday's massacre. And now it's time to get a check of the weather with Miller, and it is Friday. We have made it.
Absolutely.
Yes.
I don't know if I can call this. Can we pull that shot up of the mountains real quick? I don't know if we can do that. Is that a way? I was just over there looking at it. It's absolutely oh, look at that.
Oh my goodness.
That
That's
is just
gorgeous.
Stunning. What a great shot that is, you know. Hopefully it puts a smile on your face. Unfortunately, you may not be grinning too much as we get into the weekend because we do have a lot of rain. Now, in my ranching and farming friends should be excited because we could see several inches of rainfall off of this system that's coming through and that energy behind it. Unfortunately, we just don't want to see the severe weather, and we do have that chance today. And we're going to break this all down with the main forecast coming up. Love to crunch numbers. Our high yesterday, a good 11 degrees above average. We'll stay above average today, and then we're going to cool down as we get into the weekend. Overnight low yesterday, right on target. Top gusts yesterday of 20 miles an hour. Could see gusts in excess of 60 today with those severe weather. No moisture yesterday, and we're falling behind, folks, but check this out. These numbers here are going to be wiped out. We'll be in the plus column by the time we get to the weekend and the first part of next week as we anticipate a good bit of moisture coming in. Again, another great shot of those mountains. Wow. 61 right now at the airport. Winds out of the southwest at about 3 miles an hour. 50s and 60s. Very mild as we go along this morning. You can see we do have some rain in the area. Highs today, well, we're going to get into the 70s and 80s. But we got to deal with the possibility of seeing some severe weather. You can see some of that moderate stuff starting to push into Marr County right now. We'll take a look. We'll break it all down coming up here in just a bit.
All right, the latest on that. Thanks a lot, Miller.
You got it.
Well, continuing our coverage, Bighorn County Attorney Jay Harris is dropping charges against the Hardin police chief. This stemmed from an arrest last March where a Hardin police officer is accused of punching a man as he arrested him. The county attorney claimed the alleged victim tried to file a misconduct report, but Chief Donald Babin wouldn't accept it. The officer involved in that arrest is facing misconduct charge, but Harris dropped an assault charge he was facing too. Again, all charges against Chief Babin have been dropped. For law enforcement canine handlers, a dog acts as a partner and a friend on the job. Unfortunately, changes in Montana law separated some longtime buddies. Q2's David J. spoke with a sheriff's deputy in Roundup to find out why.
Muscle Shell County Sheriff's Deputy Travis Manning is still getting to know his new canine partner, Akai.
He will be 2 years old in October.
After he was forced to say goodbye to his old partner of 2 years, Rico, due to a change in Montana law.
He's my best friend, my partner. He was with me 24/7. It was not easy.
With the legalization of recreational marijuana, police dogs, which are often used to sniff out drugs, had to know how to separate pot from other narcotics, something Rico and most other dogs in Montana were never trained to do.
We just need to make sure that the dogs are not even alerting on marijuana. It's a legal substance at this point, and we can't have dogs that are even showing interest in it. So they need to look at it like any other substance, not an illegal one.
And that's what brought Akai to Montana. Deputy Manning is one of only a handful of certified trainers in Montana. He flew to Pennsylvania to train the pup and bring him here to Roundup. Not all dogs are trained for narcotics. Some specialize in search and rescues. Others are trained to find bodies or bombs.
His toy of choice is what we call a bendy ball.
And as for Rico, Manning may have had to say goodbye to his friend, but his former partner is still hard at work, now in Kansas, where marijuana remains illegal.
I gave him to a handler and a trainer that went through the same course I did. So I put Rico in the best situation I could have. He's still working, still doing what he loves to do, and will continue to do that with someone who treats him for what he is and respects him for what he is.
In Roundup, David J., MTN News.
Meanwhile, a Montana Highway Patrol trooper is being recognized for saving a canine that was stuck in a patrol car that was sitting on active train tracks. Trooper Wade Palin was presented with the Attorney General Commendation Award. While responding to a carjacking in Missoula, he noticed one of the city's police cars parked on the railway with a dog still inside. After hearing a train whistle, he jumped into action to save the animal.
They're a vital part of our team, and they're a vital part to the mission across the state. And so they hold a very near and dear, they're very close to my heart, and found it very important to get the dog out.
For his bravery, he becomes the first recipient of the Attorney General Commendation Award. Police are investigating an accusation against State Superintendent Elsie Arnson, claiming she drove past a school bus with an extended stop arm. And he's telling a bus driver contacted police saying he recognized her driving a red pickup. Arnson says she has driven past that bus stop before, but did not recall this specific incident. The superintendent of East Helena Schools told MTN he takes the accusations seriously, calling it a school safety concern. And now we go to Butte, where Montanans are choosing kindness over hate. MTN's John Amy shows us how school kids turned a difficult situation in the mining city into a message of positivity.
Some residents on Butte's West Side neighborhood got a bag with a hateful message in it. So these students at West Elementary School decided to send a different message, a message of love and kindness.
I had kids come into my classroom that woke up with bags of hate mail on their porch and decided that we wanted to deliver a little bit of love and kindness to as many neighbors in the neighborhood as we could.
The students want to counter a racist flyer that was recently distributed in bags with a rock in it by delivering bags with their own rocks and cards decorated with a positive message.
We should give people nice messages instead of rude messages, because rude messages are rude.
And students had plenty of nice messages to deliver.
It says, bring good vibes wherever you go. On the bags, it says, there's always a light in the darkest of places. On this side, it says, you are the sun that lights the sky.
What do you want people in this neighborhood to know about?
That they're loved. That it's okay to be yourself.
While today's event is all about spreading a positive message, one of the students here had a message they wanted to give to the person that spread that hateful message.
Stop. You're gonna put hate and you're gonna ruin the world, and all you want to do is ruin everybody's day. So stop. Don't do it.
Persephone has good advice for dealing with haters.
Just throw it away, throw the hate away, and be good. Be a good person.
Pisanti has a history of spreading positive messages. In 2019, she started an event where children held up positive signs to motorists on Monday mornings before class just to lift people's spirits. In Butte, John Amy, MTN News.
Happening this morning, the iconic Beartooth Highway will be open for a drive between Red Lodge and Cook City. You can start cruising the road at 8 o'clock. However, it will close again at 5 o'clock this afternoon. Winter weather conditions are expected through the weekend. The highway will reopen as conditions allow. Well, the Friday before Memorial Day is known as Don't Friday. Skin cancer experts want to raise awareness about sun safety because skin cancer is extremely common here in the U.S. and cases are increasing. CBS's Elise Preston shows us the types of sunscreen offering the best protection.
Natalie Lowry says she never goes out without protection on her face. Her daily moisturizer contains sunscreen.
Why is it so important? Because I don't want to get wrinkles, and I'm also very pale, so I burn.
Sunscreen is one tool to protect against skin cancer and premature skin aging. The first main type of sunscreen is mineral or physical sunscreen, with ingredients including zinc oxide and titanium dioxide. They sit on the surface of the skin and reflect UV rays.
Physical sunscreens are known to be completely safe and effective, but sometimes they can be less pleasing to apply to the skin, especially in people with darker skin types, because they might be a little harder to rub in.
The other type of sunscreen is chemical. New York City dermatologist Dr. Elizabeth Hale says some ingredients in chemical sunscreens get bad press.
Recently, some of these ingredients have come under bad press because some of them, most notably oxybenzone and octinoxate, have been associated with damage to coral reefs and some endocrine issues in rodents. But for humans, even the chemical sunscreens have been found to be safe and effective.
The skin needs to absorb chemical sunscreen, so apply and wait 15 to 30 minutes before heading outside. Physical sunscreens work right away.
For children, I often recommend physical sunscreen ingredients because they can be less irritating and they are safe and effective on all skin types.
Dr. Hale adds chemical sunscreens work better with sweat and water. So if a child is outside swimming and sweating all day, you may want to choose a chemical sunscreen. And remember, sun protective clothing, hats, and sunglasses. Elise Preston, CBS News, New York.
The Skin Cancer Foundation recommends using a water-resistant, broad-spectrum sunscreen with an SPF of 30 or higher if you're going to get extended sun exposure. Be sure to reapply every 2 hours or after swimming or sweating. Technology is a medical game changer, making everything from surgery to recovery better, easier, and more reliable. This morning, Q2's Alina Howder takes us to the Rehabilitation Hospital of Montana, where doctors are finding creative ways to deploy virtual reality.
May is Stroke Awareness Month, and this hospital in Billings is turning to virtual reality to help their patients recover. The concept is fairly new to Montana. When they put on this headset, patients are transported out of the recovery room into a whole new world.
Doug Harris is relearning what most of us learned to do as children.
You use your left side more than you think you would, but it's the walking, the lack of being able to walk that's been frustrating, but we're getting there.
Harris had a stroke on April 20th and is now unable to use the left side of his body. Doug has been at the Rehabilitation Hospital of Montana for 2 weeks.
I can do things now I couldn't do 2 weeks ago.
He's come a long ways thanks to not only his therapist.
Do you see that piece of bread up above it?
Yes. That's the loaf, huh?
That's the loaf.
But also virtual reality.
I think the intent is to be able to get me to view and focus on images, and to be able to determine what they are and the mechanics of what my brain is seeing versus what my body can do.
The hospital is the first in Montana to use VR to help stroke patients recover.
Just pick up the tray, then lift it forward. There you go.
There you are, my friend.
In this scenario, Doug is making sandwiches, an exercise that helps him regain lost motor skills.
So we can actually incorporate different challenges that incorporate those systems to help people regain their function and their independence.
Rehab for stroke patients can involve grueling repetition. Virtual technology takes patients' minds off the work and makes it more fun and interactive.
Well, with this scenario, it was focusing more on the beach and the sound of the water, which was relaxing.
We just see a really high level of engagement from people when they're working on it. It makes it fun for them and it makes it fun for us.
VR is just one part of their recovery. Patients here spend about 3 hours a day doing all sorts of interactive rehab.
New record, nice job.
The goal? Getting them back on their feet, out of the virtual world and into the real world as soon as possible. In Billings,
it's magic.
Alina Howder, MTN News.